lovely souls, welcome back to my channel. This is Charlotte with Happy Twins 1111. My beautiful friends, I'm so excited to bring this video for you today. Not only have I got a really nice long juicy reading, but I've also got a fabulous giveaway bundle for you, as you can see here. Now I'll explain how to enter in a minute, but first of all let me show you what's up for grabs. And this is just to honour how special you've been to me recently. We've had such a fabulous growth spurt on my channel, and the comments that come in, the amount of gifts you send me, the generosity you show when you watch my commercials, you are so appreciated. I'm so very privileged to have you here sharing this journey with me, and so I wanted to give something back. And as you know, I've been buying a lot of crystals online recently, which is unusual for me. I normally like to handle them first, and I think it's really difficult to find a trusted crystal seller. But I've been dealing with a few, and a company called LUMI GEMSTONES have provided some of the crystals in here today. So big shout out and thanks to them. It was very generous of them, because I bought some crystals from them, and you may remember me mentioning in one of my previous videos this beauty. Now this is a double terminated aura coated clear quartz, and if you remember me mentioning this last week, I think it might have been the week before actually, I actually cried when I unwrapped this crystal. Honestly, the energy is so high vibrational and so very beautiful that it brought me to tears, and that's never happened with a crystal before. And I got so excited that I went and bought everything she had left of these. So I've included one of these in the bundle today, and the lovely lady at LUMI GEMSTONES has included some as well. So first up, let me show you what we've got here. So these are your protection stones. If you've not worked with crystals before, this is a fabulous starter bundle. This is kyanite. It's got some lovely quartz inclusions there. Absolutely beautiful piece. Now kyanite is a self-cleansing stone. It transmutes negative energy, and so it's the perfect stone to have in your collection, because when you put your others on top of it like this and kind of bundle them together, it will cleanse them of any bad vibes. So this is an absolute must to have in your collection. I also put my jewelry on it, like, you know, my little crystal chip bracelets that I wear, I lay them on top. I've got a very big piece, but this is the perfect stone to have in your collection. Everyone should have some blue kyanite. Absolutely love it. This is selenite, also a very lovely gentle energy and protective stone. And this is tourmaline. This is a very powerfully protective stone, and it also transmutes negative kind of electromagnetic waves. So, you know, the stuff that comes off your TV, your phone and your computer or television, this is perfect for absorbing all of that, you know, ugly energy that can otherwise affect us quite badly. So this is an absolute key bunch to have in your collection. We've also got a beautiful piece of desert rose, courtesy of LUMI GEMSTONES. This is absolutely gorgeous piece. You can see it actually does look like little roses. Now this is for grounding, but it's also a very soothing stone and perfect when you're working with anything of an emotional nature. Amethyst, this is a must-have, another gift from LUMI GEMSTONES for you guys. Amethyst is not just a soothing and comforting stone, it also inspires you and helps to open up your psychic ability. It's also great if you have bad dreams or nightmares. This is the stone that I'll usually put under my kids' pillows at night to help relieve bad dreams or anxiety. It's a very comforting, lovely energy. Everyone should have amethyst in their collection. I could talk all day about amethyst. It has so many properties. So make sure you Google that one. And of course, look at this, your very own double terminated aura coated clear quartz. This is absolutely stunning. You can see it's got some really beautiful markings in it. It feels absolutely incredible. Now quartz is a very versatile stone. I know you guys know it's my favorite, which was why I've included so much of it. But aura coated quartz actually generates more energy because it's titanium coated. It helps amplify the energies that are already there, and quartz can be programmed with any purpose or property. You know, that's to say, if you've got an upset tummy, you can use it for that. If you've got I don't know, depression or any other condition, you can literally program this stone to customize it even to help you with whatever you need the most. Now the next two are from my own collection. First up, of course, I had to include this twin quartz. Now they're called twin quartz because, as you can see, they have 2 points. So this is 2 pieces that have kind of merged together. A very special stone for this community, and I had to include one. I collect twin quartz. I have many, many pieces. I'm a bit sad to let this go, but I am really happy that it will go to a beautiful home. And you can see here it's got some beautiful markings. This face here, this little hexagon shaped face, I forget what the hexagon windows mean, but they are very special. Now, this one is a master teacher quartz. This is a stone that you use in meditation when you're trying to learn about yourself. It will help you grow, it will help you develop and understand what you need to do next. And the reason it's a master teacher, hopefully you can see, it's got this diamond shaped window. So when a stone has one of these perfect diamond shaped windows, it's known as the master teacher crystal, and it's the perfect crystal for your own inner journey work, meditative experiences, or if you're learning something new. Now, when I inspected this one more closely, let me see if I can find them. I did find some record keeper marks. Here they are. So hopefully you can see here these little triangles. There we go. I think we've just picked them up in the light. So when you see these little pyramid triangle shapes like that, that means it's a record keeper quartz. Please Google what that means. But these are very, very special stones to work with. And the fact that this one is a master teacher as well is really special. It's actually got some beautiful markings on it, as you can see. Markings on quartz and the number of faces and all of that jazz means a lot. You know, it really differs stone to stone, you know, how the points are shaped and how many faces they have. But yeah, this little diamond shape there means this is a master teacher. So that's the beautiful bundle. I'm very excited that one of you is going to get to win this. Now, to enter, it's really easy. There are 4 steps. First of all, make sure you like and comment on this video. Make sure you subscribe to my channel, and finally hop over to LUMI Gemstones and follow her Instagram page. All the links are pinned at the top of the comments. Now, there is a link there as well. The link is an important part of the giveaway because you just record all of your personal information on that page. You need to enter your email address and your name and your YouTube handle and your Instagram handle, and that just means that I can check that you're a subscriber here and a follower of LUMI Gemstones as well, and that I can contact you if you are the winner. So make sure you click that link and fill that information out. So just a quick recap, hit the like button on this video, comment down below saying I love LUMI Gemstones, subscribe to my channel and follow LUMI Gemstones on Instagram. Don't forget to fill out the web form, and the link is in the description box below. This giveaway will run all the way until the end of April, so you've got plenty of time to enter, and I will draw a winner at random using one of those little, I don't know, random giveaway draw apps that you kind of just plug all the details into. So filling out that form is really important so that I can contact you if you win, and I will announce the winner on my YouTube subscriber page, my community page. Oh, how exciting. Okay, let me move these out of the way and let's get started with today's reading. We are doing the you and them reading today. This is the reading where we look at the energies of both counterparts, and we are looking to see, you know, which energy they're each in, you know, how they're presenting in this connection, what each of them are thinking and feeling, and of course what's coming next, what's shifting for each of them. So we look at your energy and your person's. So take your time choosing a pile. As always, there is no right or wrong way. Just see which one you feel more drawn to. The timestamps are in the description box below, and that will take you straight to your pile. But let me show you these close up. Pile number 1 is the lovely Omens Tarot with Chrysocolla. Pile number 2 is the Affirmators Tarot with the Serpentine Heart. And pile number 3 is the Modern Witch Tarot with the Rose Quartz Point. So head over to the timestamps, which are in the description box below, and I will see you at your pile. Hello, pile number 1. Welcome to your reading. You have chosen the lovely Omens Tarot, this gorgeous piece of Chrysocolla. And if you skipped the intro today, you might want to go back and check it because there is an amazing giveaway. Just going to show you quickly. I'm giving away all of these very special stones, including one of these double terminated quartz, the aura coated ones, which you would have heard me talk about a couple of weeks ago. So there's a very special stone, a twin quartz, a master teacher quartz. I'm giving all of this away. So if you'd like to win, make sure you go and check the intro so you know how to enter. Okay, so you and them, what is going on with you and your person, pile one. In these readings, we look at the energy of you and your counterpart. So I actually use 3 decks for this reading, and we're going to be looking at how each of you are currently presenting in the connection, what energy you're showing up with. We look at how each of you are thinking and feeling about the connection, and finally we're going to look at what's shifting and of course bring forward a ton of guidance. Now there will be an extended reading today if this resonates for you. The links for that are always in the description box below. But let's give these a good shuffle. We will be using oracle cards and charms as well, and today I'm also using tarot coins, which I haven't used on my channel before. I'm very excited to give them an outing. So let's do this. Let's give them a shuffle. So as I said, I used 3 decks for this reading. For the divine feminine energies, and bearing in mind a divine feminine can be a man or a woman. It's not a gender specific energy. We are using the lovely Omens. For the masculine energies, we are using this beautiful deck, which is the Goddess Moon Power, or Moon, where is the box? I should know the name of this. I don't know why it's just escaped me. The Moon Power Tarot, I beg your pardon. So this will look at our divine masculine energies. Again, a divine masculine can be either a man or a woman. It's not gender specific. And finally, for the connecting energies down the middle, I will be using the Hide Tarot. Now, this was designed by Dan Francis, who's a friend of my family and also the illustrator that is helping me to create my first oracle deck. I'm so excited. It's not long now before we'll be announcing that and showing you a sneak peek at the cards. I can't believe it's actually coming to fruition. I'm so very excited. But Dan is an incredible illustrator. This first deck he created is absolutely stunning. And he does still have some copies of the first edition left. So if you would like to get your mitts on one of these, the links for his website are in the description box below. I know he's not got many left, and I don't know that there are any plans for him to do a second edition right now. So if you would like to, you know, grab a copy of his first deck, I recommend you hop over there quite quickly. Independently created decks like this are very collectible. Like this one, I actually bought this second hand because I missed it when it came out, the first edition, and I paid well over $200 for this. It would have been about $50 originally, just to give you an idea of how quickly they gather in value, and that's only a year or so old. So, you know, they're very much worth picking up, the first edition, if you're really into tarot and collect. But this is a beautiful deck. So when I do these readings, I do refer to the divine feminine as she and the divine masculine as he. But as I said, they're not gender specific readings. Using those pronouns just helps me differentiate between which energy I'm talking about while I do this reading. And also, to be really frank and honest with you, I actually struggle to remember the they, them in particular with this reading when I'm channeling. Old habits die hard, right? But I'm not trying to offend anyone. So please just adjust the gender pronouns as you see fit, and you know how they fit your circumstances. So let's start with the divine feminine energies. What's the current energy for our divine feminine, please? And get all the details. What is really going on in this connection? Let's have a look. So for our divine feminine, we've got the 5 of Pentacles in reverse. We've got the 4 of Swords in reverse, and we've got the King of Pentacles. And what's the current thoughts and feelings around this connection for the divine feminine? We've got the Ace of Wands in reverse, the Sun in reverse, and the 7 of Wands. And finally, what's shifting in this connection for this divine feminine? We've got the 4 of Pentacles, we've got the World, and we have the Hermit. So much earth energy in this reading. Lots of Virgo, lots of Taurus, lots of Capricorn. Let's get the energies for the masculine as well. So just move these up so we've got plenty of room. Just going to check they're still in shot. Yes, they are. Right, so current energies for our divine masculine, please. We have the Moon, the World in reverse, and the Empress. Interesting. And how's this masculine thinking and feeling about the counterpart and the connection? Wow, we've got the Emperor in reverse. We've got the 9 of Cups. And we've got the Hermit. Lots of earth energy here as well. And what's shifting for this divine masculine? We have got the Six of Cups in reverse, the Two of Pentacles, and Temperance in reverse. Okay, so let's get some connecting energies for down the middle. We've got Death. Represented here is the statue, connecting feelings, please. That's the King of Pentacles in reverse. And what's shifting? What's the connecting energies for what's shifting? We've got the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. So we'll get some more cards out as we go. I'm just going to get some of these true love reading cards as well, just to help us understand the overall energies of this connection. We've got the distorted masculine. That's interesting because we had the Emperor in reverse as well. And we've got self-respect. Okay. I feel really pumped for this today, part one. Really pumped for this. I know this is going to be a special reading. I can feel it already. Okay, so let's start with our divine feminine. We've got Five of Pentacles in reverse, Four of Swords in reverse, and the King of Pentacles. And this is a divine feminine that has transcended her pain. She's suddenly turned a corner. All of that energy of rejection and abandonment that's been torturing her for so long has suddenly just dissipated, and she's finding herself having moved through that recovery period and feeling so very powerful. You know, the King of Pentacles is a very stable energy, and this is the energy of someone that is finally committed to themselves. And this is why I was feeling this buzz, part one. I'm so very happy for you because I know this has been hard won. You have worked really, really hard to get yourself into the balanced state that you're in today. And it's not just about balancing emotions. When the King of Pentacles comes up, this is someone that has balanced their material world as well. They're feeling grounded, they're feeling stable, you know, everything's moving more smoothly for them. This is powerful manifesting energy as well, a great energy of abundance here. And so it feels like you've turned this dramatic corner, you have ascended, and you have arrived at a point where you finally feel comfortable in being self-sufficient, both in terms of loving yourself and meeting all of your own needs. So this is a divine feminine that's pleasantly detached and feeling all of her power. It's a state that she never dared believe she could arrive at. And slowly but surely, with baby steps, she has transcended all of that needy, clingy, codependent energy and found herself deeply, madly in love with self and just feeling on top of the world with that. There's such an energy of peace about this and of having really let go of a lot of the childhood trauma that had kept her stuck. You know, of not knowing how to support self. A lot of resentment's been released for those that didn't support her in the way that she felt she needed. So this is a beautiful, powerful energy for what's occurring with the divine feminine here. For the masculine, we have the Moon, the World in reverse, and the Empress. Such interested energies. Now, what's happened here is that after this masculine, after having all of this devoted energy from the divine feminine, who would previously drop everything, you know, to meet his needs, this divine feminine is now standing in her power. And it's not that she doesn't care anymore, but she's released the need to move this connection to union. And in doing so, she's released the desire to try and heal this person. So her heart may still be devoted, but she's now understanding that there's nothing she can say or do to help this masculine heal and move forward on his journey. So she's taken a step back. She's moved the focus onto herself, and this masculine is exceptionally triggered by those energies. The Moon represents fear, uncertainty, disillusion. They're feeling all of the power of this connection right now, but they're also feeling very insecure in it. They don't understand why their divine feminine has stepped back. They're perceiving it as rejection. They're perceiving it as a lack of interest. And even though that couldn't be further from the truth, you know, their unhealed state is receiving it in a very pessimistic way. And so there's a lot of anxiety from our divine masculine right now. It's literally like their world has been turned upside down. And we've got the Empress showing up here. You know, this divine feminine, having mastered her feminine energy and moved into that state of surrender, is now processing masculine energy. She's now looking to balance her masculine energies, and in part, this is what makes it easier for her to be more emotionally detached from this situation, because she's now working with those masculine energies which aren't by nature deeply rooted in the emotional body. This has propelled the masculine energy into feminine energies. So all of a sudden they're experiencing a rush of emotion. They're experiencing their intuition with the moon as well in ways they haven't before. And it's been very destabilizing for them. Literally, we see that their world has been turned upside down. And so this is a divine masculine which has been plunged into a more needy energy. The divine feminine, having pulled back and, you know, being stood still in her power, has now triggered this masculine to start doing the work. Now, when a divine masculine steps into feminine energy, you know, a whole world of healing opens up. They begin to notice more emotional depths rising to the surface. They become more aware of their need to heal self and their own issues, but they can also act out when they're in this energy, just like this divine feminine would have done in the early stages of her journey. So this masculine is feeling very needy, very triggered, and very insecure. But what's powerful here is this connecting energy of death. Now remember, death is the energy of resurrection, of transformation. It's the rising of the phoenix from the ashes. And it's represented here as well as a statue, which is that standing still, very calm energy that the divine feminine is bringing. And it seems like an unusual symbol for the energy of death because statues are so still. But of course, stillness and peace is an essential component of being able to, you know, elevate ourselves above the mind so that we can actually get some clarity. So this is a very powerful shift in this connection. And for sure, this divine masculine is feeling it powerfully. What's really happened here is that the divine feminine is feeling now like she's no longer motivated or driven to chase. She's stepped into her own journey, and it's because she's flipped into masculine energy. She's not necessarily as optimistic about the outcome of this connection. She's just very much cool with whatever comes next. She's no longer feeling happy with what's on offer because she's learned that breadcrumbs are not enough for her. And so this stepping back and creating healthy boundaries with this Seven of Wands has her feeling much more stable, but also somewhat disinterested in her divine masculine. It's not that she doesn't care or love this person anymore. It's just that it feels very inconsequential. She's finally arrived at the conclusion of, I can't really do anything to change this person or to help them move along. And I'm perfectly happy getting along with my life. So that spark of drive that previously drove her towards him has settled, and in that stillness she has found a lot more peace in her independence. She's let go of the need for union. She's stopped chasing, she's stopped pressing, and so she's got these healthy boundaries, and she's very much of the attitude, I don't need your bullshit anymore. I'm okay over here. I finally realised that I have everything I need. Again, this is exceptionally triggering for the masculine. We've got the Emperor here in reverse, symbolic of the distorted masculine energies. This is a divine masculine that feels out of control. He feels like he's lost his footing. And yet we also have two nines here. Now 9 is the energy of the Hermit, which we see here, but it's the energy of solitude, the energy of loneliness as well for some. But when the 9 of Cups shows up, remember I said that they've, you know, been shifted into this divine feminine gear. They are suddenly feeling it all, and they're very introspective about what's happening. You know, with the Empress here clarifying the Hermit, this is a masculine that's been driven inwards. You know, with the feminine stepping back and giving him space to explore his own true self. You know, he's now gone into this withdrawal mode where he's very analytical and introspective over his own feelings. But that divine masculine energy still that distorted masculine energy still rages strong. You know, this is a masculine that's feeling exceptionally triggered, very, very insecure. The material world may start to be a bit of a lumpy, bumpy ride in response to this shift in their energy. Above all else, they feel completely out of control. And with the King of Pentacles coming up here in reverse, remember we had it here for the feminine, this is both parties, you know, identifying their instability in this connection. And whilst the divine feminine is committed to self, you know, the masculine is no longer finding commitment from her. Even though they never reciprocated that commitment, you know, they still expected it. And now that it's gone, they are feeling very, very unstable. Whew, exciting energies for you, divine feminine. So moving over to what's shifting. This divine feminine, we've got the Four of Pentacles, the World, and the Hermit. So we see this divine feminine really holding on to the stability she's earned, the stability she's worked so hard for, and she's refusing to let go of this new energy of control. And we see here in the world that she's turning her back on the connection. Her world feels complete, and with this Hermit energy, she is very self-focused and isn't about to, you know, change that dynamic for anyone. You know, this is someone that's very, very determined to maintain the stable foundation which they have worked so very hard to create for themselves. They are not letting go. Now, I'm going to be real with you. There is an energy of stubbornness about this. And when you flip out of feminine energy and into that masculine energy, and you need to balance that, you need to consider that the unbalanced masculine energy is also distorted. And so this in part is what makes it so easy for this divine feminine to turn away. And we literally see that happening. Look, whereas the masculine's world is turned upside down, the divine feminine has her back to this situation. You know, she has now stepped into running energy. So even though this is a powerful and positive shift in the dynamic, it's also not yet in balance, because the divine feminine, having mastered her divine feminine energy, is now being called to master and balance her masculine energies. So this is a divine feminine that's running. Now, no one is meant to run or chase. And even though she's got this energy of stillness and standing in her power, she's not realizing that she is actually leaning back away from the connection. She's got these very firm boundaries. And even though that sounds out of balance, well, it is out of balance. There's nothing to be ashamed of here. It's a natural progression of these energies. Just as chasing isn't a choice we make. Yeah, we don't choose to chase, do we? We just can't bloody help ourselves. Well, neither is running. And so this divine feminine has now a very unique perspective of how her masculine has been feeling and what he's been going through. But the tables have really turned here. You know, this is a masculine that's moved into chasing energy and a feminine that's moved into runner. And we can see here with what's shifting for the masculine, when the Six of Cups comes up in reverse, you know, he's kind of thinking, this is over. I thought this was a soulmate connection. That's what my feminine told me, but everything's changing and I feel absolutely bereft. So this masculine is definitely going through a powerful change. And look how twinny these images are. You know, and look, they're leaning back away from each other, even though they're still connected. We've got that infinity number 8 symbol there. And also here, that exchange of energy with temperance that your person is no longer feeling in your running energy. And with that detachment in mind, you know, your person feels lost at sea. They no longer sense you with their presence. You're no longer blowing up their phone. You know, you have developed this self-respect. And finally, you are making your way to the castle without turning around to face them. Because this is what we do when we're in chasing energy. Instead of continuing along our path and staying in the light, we keep turning around to look at where our counterpart is. Hey, you, hurry up. You know, and quite often we'll walk back and stand in the shadows with them, desperately trying to encourage them to catch up. Come along, let me help you heal. Let's heal together. We've got to do this journey together. No, this divine feminine now understands that she can walk this path alone, that actually she is the torchbearer. She illuminates the path forward. And you can see here the masculine is nowhere in sight. You know, this is a divine feminine marching forward regardless and no longer feels the need, you know, to get stuck in the shadows. But both of you are still dealing with distorted masculine energy. Your counterpart hasn't balanced either their feminine or masculine energy. So no wonder that we see so much distortion here, so much unbalanced and so much very triggered energy. But for this feminine, the challenge is now, you know, to work with this space that she's created for herself and start to balance her masculine energies. So let's get some guidance cards out for you two here as well. I forgot to ask you guys to choose signs today. I got so carried away with the buzzy energies. But I haven't pulled oracle cards yet, so if you've not asked for a sign yet, remember, a sign can be anything at all. It's just a sign from the universe to remind you that you're heard, the universe has your back, and also to affirm which messages are meant for you. And you can ask for a symbol, an object, a phrase, a god or a deity, an animal, numbers, whatever works for you, a name. So I'm going to just give these a shuffle. I'm going to start with the Queen of the Moon cards. So what's the guidance for Divine Feminine, please? Right, we've got boundaries, we've got realization, we've got will, and we have balance. Let's go with some for the masculine as well. Power, blossoming, the path. Oh wow, I love this. This is such an exciting shift for you, pole one. And surrender. Wowza. And for the connecting energies, what's the guidance here for the connecting energies? Resistance. And I want to come to this one first, because as I said, I don't think the Divine Feminine recognizes that she is still in a state of resistance. You know, she's so empowered at having finally kind of released that tight codependent energy that she's now resisting coming forward at all, because she doesn't want to step back into it. And so we have this pulling back. But you can see that, you know, despite that resistance, you know, even though the hand is clamped down, there is so much growth here. You know, there's an eagle here, lots of birds here, a little ladybug and a moon. These all represent intuition and a higher perspective. So this is a period of enormous growth and transformation for both of you. But for the Divine Feminine, we have number 12 and number 3. Now, of course, 12 reduces to 3, and it's also the energy of the Hanged Man, the energy of surrender. And 3 is Divine Feminine power. So we have this realization where she's stepping out of the dark through the keyhole into the light. And we have this recognition of healthy boundaries, which I'm understanding is not just boundaries in love. This is someone that's actually taking responsibility for their energy. You know, in every sense of the word, this is someone that's creating space for themselves to be nurtured, to grow without the pressing obligations of the external reality. You know, there's not just healthier boundaries in this connection. This is a Divine Feminine that's developed healthy boundaries in all areas of her life, but there's still more focus required here. You're being asked to perceive things from this new perspective and to bring them into balance. You're also being reminded how powerful your will is. Remember, thought plus belief equals creation. So, you know, this is a Divine Feminine that now has the power to start manifesting, you know, to start creating the kind of abundance that she's always wanted. Now, there's a message here as well that, you know, being healthy doesn't mean we will never suffer again. So Divine Feminine, when you find yourself still having bad days, you need to give yourself a break. It doesn't mean you're failing. It doesn't mean that you've slipped back or that you've done it wrong. You know, being healthy doesn't mean that we no longer experience pain. It just means that we have the toolkit to cope with suffering so that it no longer sinks us. So, you know, the healing process continues even once you've moved into surrender energy. It just means that you now have the coping mechanisms to move through those energies with more grace. So you need to continue being gentle with yourself and also release some of this distorted masculine ego that's a little bit smug that you're in this energy. And I truly understand that. I went through this as well. You know, I remember feeling high as a kite on top of the world. I've done it. I'm healed. I'm so special. And I came down to earth with a bump. And you will too. But, you know, there is always more healing to do. Healing kind of, it's not a straight line. Obviously, we're always ascending, but it kind of goes like that. You know, we're always cycling back through old trauma. We're just seeing it from a higher perspective each time. So before a big leap forward, you know, there's always moving back before we can come forward. It kind of keeps going like that. So, you know, there's a message here to recognize that you know, you've got to still continue to be gentle with yourself. And again, this number 13 card, you know, that's death energy. That's more death energy. You know, the energy that came up here is the energy of transformation. It shows us here that it's cyclic, like the moon. You know, you have to move through those cycles to allow that transformation to continue. And number 19 is the energy of the sun. And we can see here that despite having a cloud over her head, she has the power. You know, she has the power to bring balance to her world, no matter the circumstances. And this is something you should be really proud of yourself for. You know, this is something that you've worked very, very hard to achieve. Now, you're also learning about the energy of avoidance, because that's where your person's been. You know, you were anxiously attached, they were anxiously avoidant. And now that that's shifted for you and you've released a lot of that anxiety, you've moved into this masculine energy, which is more avoidant. Now, an avoidant person isn't devoid of emotion. You know, they're just guarded about revealing their feelings to themselves and to others. You know, they actually feel a lot, which is why they're so reluctant, I guess, to allow their feelings to surface. And so, Divine Feminine, you're being cautioned here about not leaning back too hard into this masculine energy, that you're actually avoiding the feelings and the emotions that you need to be aware of to continue this growth. You stay balanced by balancing all of your bodies, including your emotional body. The energies here for the masculine are very exciting. We've got the full moon power. Now, this is a number 16, which is Tower energy. You know, the Tower card in Tarot. But what we see here is how powerfully transformative this energy is. Having been shoved into Divine Feminine energy, they suddenly have access to all this power and intuition. They are growing at a powerful rate. And we've got 2 3s here. Again, remember 3 is the number of the Divine Feminine, but 3 and 3 are also the numbers of unconditional love. Now, this onslaught of emotion that suddenly rushed forward for them is very, very challenging. It's very destabilizing. And there's a woman playing a violin here, and it reminded me of that kind of that quip where someone says, "Oh, I feel so sorry for you, I'm playing a little violin just for you." And of course that's a very sarcastic remark, but you know, this person really is kind of sitting in the energy of self-pity as their heart expands and this emotion comes forward. You know, even though they're growing, they're very, very challenged, and they need to recognize and embrace these energies that are supporting them now in their forward movement. And we've got the path here. Look at this. There's a little ladder and there's an opening here. They can get on that path at any time, but we still see this reluctance here. They've got their hands behind their back. They're not quite sure if they're ready to climb up. And so they may be feeling somewhat stuck with all of this powerful energy surging through them, not really knowing what to do with it. And the guidance here is that they've got to take that leap of faith. They have to surrender. This is another number 8 card. 2, the energy of the High Priestess, but also number 6, the energy of unconditional love. So 2 number 8s. And remember, this is what we saw here with this 2 of Pentacles, the infinity number 8, the power of change, cycling through these energies over and over until they finally step forward. So, you know, your person's being asked to surrender to the energy, and you know, as a Divine Feminine that's been through this, how challenging that is. So be patient with them. And I know you've given up trying to heal this person, but they are going to come forward and communicate about these energies that are kind of really turbulent within them at the moment. And I'm asked to remind you that you lead by example. You know, don't be telling them you should do this and you should do that and you should be doing this. Telling isn't selling. You know, when you tell someone what to do, you disempower them. Instead, you're guided to share your journey. Understand how you feel. What I found is, you know, keep it personal to you. Don't tell them what they should do. Just remind them what you did and what helped you. And this is how they're going to feel more empowered and inspired by your example. So let's get some more guidance cards here. I'm going to use the Divine Animals Oracle. Some more guidance. And we're going to get some charms and tarot coins as well. We've got the Sacred Ibis and the Rhino. We've got the Hare, so more Divine Feminine energy there, and the Bull. Okay, and I want to get, sorry, we'll get one for the middle as well. The Lioness, more divine feminine energy. I love this. And I'll get some Starseed cards as well. For the feminine, we've got the cosmic heart. And for the masculine, we've got your life is a canvas. I love this. It's like a brand new beginning, isn't it? A clean slate. So divine feminine, learning, the sacred ibis. And this is a 2-2 card, the energy of the high priestess brought forward here twice. Remember, combined, this is the energy of masculine, the emperor. Number 4, the energy of control, stability and leadership. But this is the part you're learning. You know, a new door is opening for you, and you've got to step through it and recognize that this is a new phase in your journey. The healing's not done. There's more for you to learn. It doesn't serve you to think, I'm done, I've learned, I know it all. You know, we never know it all. This is a new step forward in the right direction for you here. Again, this is all about balancing the masculine energies. And we've got rhinoceros, the energy of moderation. And 3 and 2, we've got divine feminine, empress and high priestess energy there. But combined, this is also number 5. Also the energy of higher learning, of authority. And remember, we're in a year of number 5. 2021 is a number 5 year. So, you know, there's a call for moderation here. Remember that all of this fire that's depicted, fire is very purifying, but it can also be destructive if not used wisely in moderation. So what I'm hearing here is that as your power to manifest is increased, you've got to be even more guarded and careful with your thoughts, lest you begin manifesting things you don't even want. And when you've got a masculine ego raging within you, because that's the part you're trying to balance, this is ever more important. It's warning you that your power to manifest can be destructive if it's not used in a balanced and moderate fashion. The cosmic heart, devotion, potency, make your life a moving prayer. And again, this is all about that power to manifest. You know, when you have mastered, surrendered to and moved into stillness with divine feminine energy, you are a creator. You know, divine feminine is a creator. We give life. And you have this divine blueprint of creation within you that has now been activated. So again, you know, your life is a moving prayer. You need to be very conscious and at peace with and in stillness with your thoughts. Now, the challenge, once you're in this energy and the masculine energy in you is distorted and waiting still to be balanced, is to hold this awareness. And so lots of frequent, short, sharp meditations to help you check if you're centered, grounded, protected, aligned and above the mind. Remember, the masculine is more connected to the mind, to the mental body. And so that's going to be your challenge now, is staying rooted in this beautiful divine feminine energy, because the masculine energy is raging. You know, you have to balance them. For the masculine, we've got cycles and hair. And hair obviously is a symbol of creation and fertility as well. But this is a number 31 energy, which carries the energy of the Empress and the Magician. Again, both energies of manifesting. And this is all about cycles. You know, your person's currently attracting a lot of karma back into their life. So don't be surprised if they suddenly take a turn back towards old relationships, old difficult traumatic situations with family or friends. You know, they are revisiting and moving through those old karmic cycles so that they can bring them to a close. We've also got the Bull, another number 4 card, again rooted in masculine energy and the energy of control. And this card's called sacrifice. You know, your person needs to let go of who they thought they were. It's not easy for someone that's distorted masculine to step into feminine energy. You know, when the ego dissolves and leaves them with all these, what they perceive to be very feminine qualities, that's very triggering for the masculine. And so you're being asked to recognize and understand how much of a painful sacrifice this actually is to them. But it says here, your life is a canvas. Artist, manifestation, creative accountability. You know, this really reaffirms the powerful creative energy that exists in this connection now, but also, you know, your person is finally becoming accountable and recognizing their accountability for the life they have created for themselves. The Lioness is protection, and again, this is a 21, the energy of the High Priestess and the Magician, all bundled together. We have the Empress. And remember, the Lioness is a powerful figure of divine feminine energy. In lion prides, it's the lioness that hunts. The lioness is the provider of food and sustenance. You know, the lions sit around all day with the cubs. So you're being called to protection here. You're being called to step into that masculine role and to bring it into balance. And definitely when this comes up, I would always say, take extra steps and measures to really bring your connection into a protected and clear state. Now is a great time to clear the energies that exist between you. Okay, let's get some charms and some tarot coins before we wrap this up and take it over to the extended. Give these a shuffle. Whoop, a little butterfly fell out there. What have we got? We have got the FBI badge, Special Agent Fox Mulder. We've got It's Too Peoply Outside. We've got the rainbow. We have got Don't Overthink It. We've got the You're a Loser on the iPod. We've got the sloth party animal, which of course is a beautiful ironic contradiction. We've got the light bulb. We have got Don't Be a Dick. I love that one. And we've got the little tiny pink feet. And let's get some tarot coins as well. So I'm going to reach in and I'm just going to grab 2 or 3. Right, so we have got the Ace of Pentacles. We've got the Hermit again. And we've got the 7 of Cups. Interesting. So, FBI. Your person's always doing a bit of detective work and keeping a very close eye on you. For me, this is a very sneaking, investigative energy. Your person may be trying to play it really cool. Oh, look, there's 2 more that fell out here. 3 more, in fact. We've got Aunt, we've got Minnie Mouse, and we've got Love. Okay, so yeah, you know, your person is trying to play it cool, and that energy is so transparent to you now. It's like now you've ascended, you see the truth of who they are and of how they feel, which is why you're so confident in stepping back. You know, you understand that this person's now going through what you went through, and you recognize that even though they're trying to play it cool, that deep down they're itching, you know, about this whole debacle. It's 2 people outside and the party animal sloth, and we also have the energy of the Hermit coming through again, which showed up for both of you. You know, this is a period of separation that's required, and each of you is being guided towards that self-reflection to maintain the focus on self. Your person's going to struggle with that more, and they are going to try and cross your boundaries. But this is a powerful new beginning for both of you. Now, you still have free will. You know, the 7 of Cups is about choices, but you're being asked to remain optimistic and not to overthink it. Now, what's really interesting is there's 2 here that are a little bit inflammatory. You're a loser, don't be a dick. Now that you've moved into masculine energy, distorted masculine energy, and you know, you're feeling a bit more confident, you're not as needy anymore, you may have found that your communication is a little bit colder than usual. So for me, when these 2 come up, you know, you're really guided to be a little bit more gentle. I know it's exciting that the tables have turned and that you can feel a little bit, you know, well, you kind of deserve this kind of vibes. But in truth, you know, you understand how painful this process of surrender was, and you're being asked to sit in the energy of more compassion for your person. Everything is lit up now. They are feeling your light, and your light is radiating far and wide. You probably notice that everything in your life just feels that much easier. Now, I'm going to bring these ones up to you because I don't know what these mean. Maybe you asked for these as a sign, but you know, there's 3 little charms here which are probably symbolic to you at a very individual level. We've got the little pink baby feet, we've got Minnie Mouse, and we've got Aunt. So I'm not going to even try and read these. I'm just going to show them to you and make of these what you will. But the butterfly and the love energy reminds us why you are transforming. You know, you are transforming because you are moving back to a state of unconditional love. And this is the transformation that you both need. And this is the transformation that you're both embodying. So this is very positive vibes for you, Pile 1. You know, you and your person have made great strides forward as a result of your dedication, your diligence, and your commitment to yourself. So I just want to say congratulations before I move this over to the extended. You know, you really have brought so much peace to this energy. That was such a beautiful release of energy then when I breathed out. It was like, oh, so much relief for you. It's palpable. I really feel it. So I'm going to take this over to the extended. We're going to go really deeper with these energies. We're going to look more at how each party is thinking and feeling, get some messages from the higher selves as well. We're going to take a deeper look at what's coming next and how you can navigate that. So if this has resonated for you, you can find the link to the extended in the description box below. Hopefully I'll see you there, but if not, thank you so much for joining me here. Don't forget to enter my giveaway if you want to win all those lovely goodies. And thank you so much to the very generous souls that watch my commercials. Those of you that take time to exchange energy that way, I can't tell you what an impact it has on my ability to do this work. It really does keep my channel ticking over. So my big, deepest gratitude to every single one of you that takes the time to watch at least one of those commercials. I appreciate it so much. Thank you for being here, and I will see you next time. Lots of love. Bye. Hello, Part 2. Welcome to your reading. You have chosen the Affirmators Tarot, this stunning piece of Serpentine. And we are asking today, what is really going on between you and your person? In this reading, we look at the energies of both you and your person. We're seeing how each of you are currently showing up in this connection. We're looking at how each of you are feeling and thinking about one another in the connection. And we're looking at what's shifting for each of you and what you can expect, and obviously guidance in terms of how to deal with that. Now, before I begin, if you skipped the intro today, you might want to go back and check it out because I'm doing a fabulous giveaway. I'm just going to show you quickly all of these beautiful stones, and look, there's so many, including one of these stunning aura coated double terminated points. All of this, so much I can barely fit it in my hand, is being given away. This is a collab I'm doing with LUMI GEMSTONES. I've bought a ton of crystals from her recently. She's very kindly sent me some little bits to give away as well. If you would like to find out how to join, make sure you go and watch the intro. Okay, but let's do this. So part 1, whilst I'm shuffling, make sure you ask for a sign. Remember, a sign is just an opportunity for the universe to give you a nudge and let you know they're listening and that they've got your back. And a sign can be anything at all. It can be an animal, an object, a symbol, a phrase, a series of numbers, a name, a goddess, a deity, whatever works for you. So ask for a sign, take a nice deep breath, hold your person in mind whilst I'm shuffling. And your sign may show up outside of this reading. It may show up somewhere else in your life, and that's okay too. Now, I actually used 3 decks for this reading. The one you've chosen will represent the divine feminine energies, which can be a man or a woman. And for the divine masculine energies, I'm going to use the Moon Power Tarot. And we're going to use a 3rd deck for the connecting energies. And that's, you know, what's happening in the middle. What's the result of the energy each of you are bringing? Now, I did shuffle these before the reading, but I like to do a shuffle on camera as well. Now, for the connecting energies, we're using the High Tarot. And you may have heard me discuss this deck before because this was created by a friend of my family, Dan Francis. He's a very, very skilled and versatile artist. And Dan Francis is actually illustrating my first Oracle deck. I am beyond excited to announce this deck. It's going to be another few weeks yet. But Dan is illustrating it for me. This is the first edition of his original deck, of which there are still a few copies remaining. So if you would like to get your mitts on that, the link is in the description box below. First edition independently created decks are always a good investment because they're very, very collectible. This one I actually bought second hand, and I paid, I think, 4 or 5 times, you know, what it would have cost originally. So, you know, if you see a deck you like, just make a note of what that was. Ace of Wands, Knight of Swords. I'm not going to keep them, but we'll just make a note of that. Yeah, if you see a new deck you like, the independently created ones, you know, they do gain value very, very quickly once that first edition sold out. I don't know that Dan will do a second edition, so this may be your last chance to get your hands on this deck. And look, I've just noticed there, that's actually my daughter. My beautiful daughter Amber features in this deck. So let's do this. I'm going to start with the divine feminine energies. So we'll just move these over for a second. So these are quite big cards. Hopefully we can fit them all in. What's the current energies for the Divine Feminine, please? And I just want to reiterate, I know I always say this when I do my readings, do this reading specifically, but in case you're new to my channel, when I refer to the Divine Feminine, I will use the pronoun she, but they're not gender specific readings. It's just easier for me when I'm channeling, because honestly I do forget they, them. But in particular with this reading, it can get confusing as to which counterpart I'm referring to. But the Divine Feminine isn't necessarily a she. It could also be a he, and of course the masculine could be a she or a he as well. So please adjust the gender pronouns as you see fit. I'm not trying to offend anybody. I try my very best, but I do struggle with the they, them pronouns, and in this reading I think it can be particularly confusing. So I'm going to use she, he. So what's the current energies of our Divine Feminine, please? We've got the Nine of Swords in reverse. We've got the Page of Swords in reverse. And we've got the Ten of Swords. Goodness. Okay. And what's this Divine Feminine currently thinking and feeling about this connection? So many yellow energies there. Those are very triggered energies. This is Divine Feminine that's triggered. We've got the Hanged Man, more yellow. We've got the Moon in reverse. And we've got the Emperor. And what's shifting for this Divine Feminine? We've got the Eight of Wands. We've got the Wheel of Fortune. And we've got the Chariot. So a lot of yellow energy here. Yellow is the colour of the solar plexus. It's also our primary trigger centre, the centre which prods us and pokes us into growth. So very interesting energies coming through for the feminine. Let's see what we've got for the masculine. What's the current energy for the Divine Masculine, please? We've got the King of Cups in reverse. We've got Temperance. This also came out in pile 1. I think it was reversed though. And we have got, what card is that? Six of Swords. Sorry, the symbols are really tiny, but I can just see the swords on a belt. So that's the Six of Swords in reverse. And how's this masculine currently thinking and feeling about this connection? We've got the Ten of Pentacles, the Five of Swords in reverse, the Six of Wands in reverse. And what's shifting for this masculine? We've got the Three of Pentacles in reverse. We've got the Eight of Cups in reverse. And we've got the Knight of Pentacles. So let's get the connecting energies. I'm just going to move these over a tiny bit more. Hopefully we can still see them. Let me just check the camera. Yes, we can still see them. Okay. So connecting energies with the Hive Tarot. So connecting energies is the Moon. Thoughts and feelings is the Eight of Wands. And for what's shifting, we've got the Ten of Pentacles in reverse. I'm going to be real with you. These are very messy and complicated energies. We will be getting oracle cards and charms and some tarot coins as well. I'm going to start with just what we can fit on the table. I'm just going to get some of these true love reading cards to signify an overall energy for this connection. Wow, we've got the distorted feminine. Interestingly, in pile 1, it was the distorted masculine. And we've got commitment, which is really interesting because the Ten of Pentacles shows up twice here as well. Okay. Deep, deep energies here, pile 2. Okay, so I'm going to start with the Divine Feminine and her current energies. Because it feels like, and there's a lot of air energy here, by the way, which is Aquarius, Gemini, Libra. Tremendous amount of air energy, quite a lot of earth energy as well coming through in this reading, which is of course Capricorn, Virgo and Taurus, but definitely on the feminine side, lots and lots of air energy. So this is a Divine Feminine that has recently come through a very difficult period in her life, and after feeling like her own pain and anxiety and perhaps even depression has kind of run roughshod over her, what we see is that she's now developed an awareness around all of that. Previously she was stuck and she could not see a way forward, and even though she's still in the midst of all of these very difficult and painful emotions, she is at least now processing them. Now, she does feel somewhat disempowered because she's not entirely sure how yet. And I just want to make this okay for you, because the recognition and awareness that there is work and healing and growth to be done here is half the battle won. You know, we have to admit that we're hurt and that we're not happy and healthy before we can actually begin to heal. And believe me, that's not an easy thing for people to do. You know, quite often when people are in this deep pain, they hold a lot of resentment, judgment and blame for the people they believe has brought them this pain. You know, taking accountability for it and recognizing, okay, you know, shit things have happened to me, but I don't have to feel this way and I can transcend this. I just need to figure out how. That truly is an incredible leap forward. So I just want to take my hat off to you and to make this okay and to say to you, you know, just having reached that conclusion, you have already turned a corner. You know, this is the beginning of a new way forward. And I know you're hurting because when the Page of Swords comes up in reverse, that's that very bitter, wounded inner child that is still fighting to be heard, that's still holding on to resentment and bitterness, and you're still in a lot of pain. There's the energy of betrayal here, and I feel like you haven't just been betrayed once. You have a history of many, many traumatic incidents in your life, and I just want to give you a pat on the back and remind you that you're still here. You know, so far you have 100% track record of making it through, and I know you're tired, I know you're exhausted, but this is where you start breaking those old cycles and patterns. The awareness that you need to do that is what's now moving you forward. But for sure, this is a divine feminine that's really hurting. You know, she's recognizing the need to release anxiety, but she is triggered left, right and center and still hasn't learned how to balance and center her own emotions and her own raging thoughts. And so there is a tremendous amount of pain here, which does make it more difficult and challenging to show up in this connection in a balanced manner. Now, this masculine, I'm sorry to say, I don't think is assisting with that process. You know, this is a masculine that's very much still deep in ego. And we see here with the King of Cups, which is Scorpio in reverse, that he's still very much trying to stay in control. You know, he likes that his counterpart is on the back foot because it allows him to feel powerful. And to his mind, you know, that's where he belongs, in control. That's where he feels safest. And so he does play on this divine feminine's emotions in order to help himself feel more secure and to feel more safe. You know, he recognizes the deep and powerful connection, and Temperance is a very twin flamey energy. But look at this here. Look at how twinny this card actually is. We see the energy here is blue. It represents the throat chakra, the energy of truth and communication. But we see that this communication is flowing at a very cosmic level. Those little yin yang symbols there remind us that we are both light and dark. And so, you know, they do feel the powerful energy of this connection. They recognize this divine feminine's devotion, and that makes them feel very empowered. Even though they won't commit, they have no intention of really leaving either. And so we get this hot and cold energy where they won't let you go, but they won't come forward either. And this is what creates so much uncertainty and insecurity and fear with the moon. What we have here is a classic empath narcissist dance. Now, I use the term narcissist lightly because not everyone that demonstrates narcissistic behaviors and tendencies is actually a full-blown narcissist. Lots of these behaviors, especially in the instance of your person, are learned behaviors. They're born of having been raised by narcissists and having been taught that this is how you protect yourself, get what you want and stay in control. For sure, they're not necessarily very attractive traits in a person. But, you know, you're being asked to suspend judgment here. They've dealt with the trauma that they've grown up with differently. It's softened your heart, but it's hardened theirs. In truth, both of you are out of balance. You know, no one's right or wrong here. You're both in distorted energy. And actually, the two cards here which symbolize the overall energy of the connection is the distorted feminine energy and commitment. Now, both of you recognize that deep, soulful connection. You recognize the magnetism that continues to pull you together. But this distorted feminine energy combined with a distorted masculine means that those energies can't meet in the middle. And, you know, I have explained this before, but in case you're new to my channel, I want you to imagine it like two magnets. You know, you get two magnets and, you know, you bring them together and they kind of poof, they pull together, they magnetize together. But when you turn them round, when they're in distorted energy, when they're not in their balanced energy, they're in the negative energy, you try and pull them together and they go like that, don't they? They don't quite meet. They keep flying past each other, and you can't, with the greatest will in the world, put two magnets together when they're facing the wrong way. And so this is what's actually happening in your connection right now. You know, you both feel this powerful magnetism, this beautiful connection, but it can't meet in the middle. There is no space for it to do that. There's a tremendous amount of fear in this connection. And even though your person seems very cocksure of themselves, the avoidance that, you know, the avoidant energy that they inhabit really demonstrates their fear. You know, avoidance of intimacy is also rooted in fear as much as attachment to intimacy is rooted in fear. But this divine feminine is clinging on very tightly, and you're only just beginning to recognize your own codependent nature. But as I said, I applaud you, because it's a strong thing to admit, and it's also a huge step forward for you. Now, in terms of how each of them are thinking and feeling, this divine feminine is still very triggered, really struggling with the intensity of the emotions that are presenting in this connection. We've got the Hanged Man energy here represented by the frog. And by the way, for those of you looking for signs, you've got a monkey here. I think that's a cat, a funny looking cat, but a cat nonetheless. I believe this is a salamander. It could be an iguana. You've got the bull come up twice, a unicorn. You've got birds, snakes have come up twice. So you've got horses, ostrich, and swans. So those are the animals that have come through for you so far. We've got a shell. Sorry, that's a stone. Obviously, lots of moon, sun, stars, and planets coming through here. Anything over here worthy of mention? The Scorpio is there. We've got the Ankh as well. Little bird, little cup. Lots of different images showing up. The snake comes through very strong in this whole reading. Anyway, let's go back to the divine feminine feelings. We've got the Hanged Man, we've got the moon in reverse, and we've got the Emperor. And so this divine feminine may have recently realized, oh my God, okay, I'm a twin flame, and in order to make this work, I need to surrender. I need to surrender so I can get back into control. I've got to release this chasing energy. But there is still so much fear here, keeping her stuck. And as I say this, oh, it's so pretty. There's a tiny little blue tit. It's staring right at me. It's just landed on the magnolia tree in front of my window. Tiny little bird, it's so cute. Okay. So this divine feminine, you know, she is trying desperately to surrender and to move into the energy of acceptance, but she doesn't yet understand how to do that. And, you know, the guidance here is it's okay. You know, if you're in the energy of non-acceptance, you can start moving into the energy of acceptance by acknowledging that you're not accepting. You know, I accept that I'm not accepting. I accept that I'm in a state of non-acceptance. That's the first place. Stop beating yourself up and accept where you are, because chasing and non-acceptance isn't a decision. You know, logically speaking, it sounds like it should be, shouldn't it? I decided today I'm going to be this, or I decide today I'm going to be that. I'm going to be calm, or I'm going to be whatever. But there are too many impulses and energies within us, deep, powerful conditioning that's occurred over many, many, many years, that makes it very difficult for us to just seamlessly make that decision and step into that energy. So you need to give yourself a break. The decision to pursue acceptance and surrender is a powerful step forward. So be in acceptance of your state of non-acceptance. That's a beautiful place to start. I lovingly allow myself to be where I am, even though it's not where I want to be. You know, I understand this as a process, but the fear is palpable for this divine feminine. She just wants to be balanced again. She wants to be back in control. She wants stability. Above all else, she wants to be loved. You know, the desperate longing for love is so big, and she's so tired of waiting for it. And so that overwhelms all of her sensibilities when she shows up in this connection. Now, deep down, the masculine wants that too. We've got the 10 of Pentacles here, but we've also got the 5 of Swords in reverse and the 6 of Wands in reverse. And the reason the masculine isn't showing up with commitment is because this connection is so fractious. You know, there's so many arguments, so many disagreements, so many crossed wires that he's sick of that conflict. He's, you know, tired as a dead dog of that conflict, and he doesn't believe that this connection can actually work. And bearing in mind, again, like the two magnets facing the wrong way, you know, it does feel impossible. Like no matter how hard you try, you cannot meet in the middle. And so it's not the case that your masculine doesn't love you or doesn't want to have a committed relationship. It's the case that when each of you come together, you don't know how to communicate from a place of peace and equanimity. Neither one of you is approaching this connection from a healthy space. Neither one of you understands what it means to have a healthy relationship because that hasn't been demonstrated to you. You know, your parents didn't have healthy relationships. The people around you don't have healthy relationships. And so this is something that you've not yet learned to do. And things happen so quickly between you with this 8 of Wands that this rushing energy creates so much anxiety between you. And the more pressure you apply for your person to meet your needs, the more they pull back. And they don't consciously understand why. They just know that that energy makes them feel repelled. And of course, the more they step away, the more you lean forward. So we have a lot of love here. We have a lot of desire for commitment and stability. But we also have two people that are unable to fulfill that for one another. And it's because they don't know yet how to fulfill that for themselves. In truth, we can't give somebody that which we don't have. Now, there's nothing wrong with wanting a loving and healthy relationship. You know, that's normal. We're all wired for companionship, you know, but needing it so much that you can't be satisfied without it is indicative of the underlying self-love deficit. And Divine Feminine, I know that you've already been understanding this, investigating this, but you need to hold that in mind. When this relationship doesn't happen and those rejection triggers go off at 1,000,000 miles an hour and make you feel like shit, you've got to step back into that truth. There's an underlying self-love deficit here that's making me feel that way. You know, you suffer from very serious attachment trauma because of what happened to you in your past, in your childhood, in previous relationships. And attachment trauma is being unable to walk away from a connection that doesn't feel good anymore. You know, and this is what you're both suffering from. Even though this feels very toxic, neither one of you can actually walk away from it. You know, very challenging energies for you both to deal with. Now, someone giving you less than you deserve doesn't mean that you should try harder. You know, you want love so badly that often you ruin it before it gets going. You're obsessing, you're daydreaming, you know, it raises the bar of expectation, and this generates so much anxiety about it not measuring up that the relationship ends up crashing and burning because there's too much pressure on it. And so, you know, your job now is to continue recognizing that this desperate clinging to what could be is an avoidance of giving it to yourself. And often people say, well, yeah, I get I don't love myself. I get I'm codependent, but how on earth do I fix this? You have to start loving yourself. Now, if you're not subscribed already, hit the subscribe button and go and check out my community page. Over the years, I've posted so many, you know, tips and stuff there to help you get on track. But it starts with your inner dialogue and how you communicate with yourself. You know, that inner voice that's constantly going round and round in your head is mostly very destructive because it's been conditioned by the traumatic experiences that you've been through. And so part of learning to love self is to wrestle back control of that inner dialogue and start undoing those destructive patterns of inner communication. You know, you've got to find love in yourself first. Only then are you and your person going to be able to find it in one another. Now, in terms of what's shifting for you, this is really powerful. So very powerful for the Divine Feminine, because I feel like she's become more and more aware of her own divinity. There's a part of her that daren't believe that she is a divine and beautiful being. Surely I can't be magical, a creator, a manifester, a psychic, a light worker, a healer. You know, I love all of these things. I see the value of other people doing that, but you've never been able to associate these labels with yourself. You are a divine being. And what we see now is your spiritual journey rapidly opening up for you. We've got the Eight of Wands, the Wheel of Fortune, and the Chariot. These are such powerful, fated, destined energies. This is the universe picking you up and carrying you forward. Make time to connect with your divinity. If you're not comfortable meditating, use guided meditations. There's tons on my channel. If you check out the Twin Flame Healing playlist, you'll find a few. The grounding and protection one is a good place to start. But, you know, you need to start connecting in a spiritual way and making time for spiritual exploration, because we see your journey really gathering pace. You're going to notice that the signs and synchronicities that the universe presents to you are going to come thick and fast to remind you to believe. That's what the signs and syncs are for. They're giving you evidence all the time of the magic. Yeah, it's the universe prodding and poking you and asking you to trust and believe in the divine order of your life. Everything is happening for you, and the universe really has got your back. You're moving into a stage of powerful change. You know, your heart is opening. And again, this Eight of Wands, it's the only orange card that shows up here, connects to the sacral chakra, the energy of divine inspired action. You're going to feel an overwhelming impulse to pick up your spiritual, what's the word? Not to pick up your spirit, to pick up, to align with your spiritual self. You know, you're going to feel incredibly drawn to. It's going to be on your mind non-stop that you just want to get more involved in spirituality and exploring your spirituality. Flow with that. Trust in the energies that are presenting. The universe is always guiding you in the right direction. Nothing is by accident. Certain healers or readers or people will start popping up. They've been put in your zone of awareness at the right time and place. And some of those lessons won't be easy, but that's okay. You know, everything is moving in the right direction. Your person, they may have another relationship or a karmic ex that is a tremendous challenge in their situation. For some of them, they may be changing jobs. When the Three of Pentacles comes up in reverse, this can also indicate someone that pulls back and stops collaborating. And the fact that the connecting energies here for what's shifting is the Ten of Pentacles in reverse, which is the opposite of commitment, you know, may mean that there's a separation coming your way. But this Eight of Cups in reverse, you know, your person's not trying to run away. With the Knight of Pentacles, we see that they're desperately trying to stand still. Now, for some, this could be a change in job, and maybe you guys actually work together and they need to create some distance there. But, you know, even though there's this pulling away of energy and no commitment is coming forward, your person's going to struggle to move out of your zone of awareness completely. So you're being asked to remain calm in the face of any perceived rejection or lack of commitment or pulling back. You know, your person may be taking their time and moving slowly, but they genuinely are holding this connection in mind and trying to figure out how to make it work. And what's intriguing about this Knight of Pentacles is he actually holds a sword. Now, of course, the sword is the energy of air. You know, in the swords cards, the sword represents truth. And so this is what we see is happening, but look how much dark surrounds them. You know, your person can't see the truth yet, even though they seek it. So you're being asked to recognize that all of these understandings that you're arriving at, your person needs to find their own way there. It doesn't matter how much you try and tell them what needs to come next. They've got to figure it out for themselves, and they genuinely are trying. But there definitely looks like some disruptions to the overall connecting energies of this connection moving forward, and then you may see a breakdown in communication or interaction, but it's not permanent. Your person struggles to move away from you in the same way that you struggle to move away from them. So let's get some guidance cards for you. I'm going to go with the Queen of the Moon Oracle first. What's the guidance for our Divine Feminine, please? We've got Hot Moon, Extremes, Queen of the Moon, Sovereignty, the Path, and Protection. And for the masculine, we've got Action, acceptance, peace, and change. And for the connecting energies here, we've got faith and discernment. Okay. So divine feminine, when sovereignty and protection both come up at the same time, I would suggest that your energy needs to be cleared. I'm actually going to be doing a live stream with K-Moon this weekend. Make sure you subscribe and keep an eye on my community page for updates. It's going to be on Saturday, and myself and some of the mediums I work with are going to be live with K-Moon. That's another channel, by the way. K-Moon is a twin flame astrologer, and we're going to be doing a live interview on her channel about spirit release work. Now, a spiritual clearing means to have your field cleansed of any energies that don't serve you. Energies, attachments, curses, hexes, and so forth. The fact that this has come up twice suggests to me this is something you really need. And it's important to understand how any energies that are attached to us that shouldn't be there and interfere with our sovereignty can have a dramatic impact on our state of being. I'll talk about more about that on the live if you want to investigate that, but definitely with sovereignty and protection coming up, find that grounding and protection meditation on my channel. You really need to start taking care of your energy. You're going to notice a dramatic improvement in your overall state of being when you start cleansing your energy in the same way you cleanse your body, brush your teeth. It has to be a daily practice. We've also got hot moon extremes. And for me, this is asking you to surrender to the sexual energy in this connection. You know, the old 3D paradigm of play hard to get, keep them mean, treat them keen, you know, don't give your body up. That doesn't work in twin flame connections. Actually, sexual energy for twin flames is exceptionally bonding because it stimulates the heart chakra. So you're being asked to roll with and flow with the extremes in this connection and not to hold yourself back or to feel guilt or shame around that. Look at this, the path. Remember we said you're turning a corner, but we see this lady stood here and she's not ascending the ladder and stepping into this new path yet. She's waiting. She's still not understanding. She's afraid to walk towards it in case it means leaving this behind. There's still fear here. So, you know, the path awaits you. You just need to climb the ladder and take that first step. You know, you can do it. For the masculine, we've got action. Now, we've also got acceptance, and this is an action in love because it's a number 15 card, which reduces to number 6, the energy of unconditional love. However, this also represents the energy of the devil in tarot. Number 15 is also about distorted love, conditional love. And so your person's taking action towards you, but I'm hearing that it may be somewhat misguided or distorted. They're trying to move into acceptance of what this connection means. You know, they're trying to find peace with it and to move with this flow of energy and change. But look at how resistant this person is. You know, as this great egg comes towards them, we see them pushing it away here with their feet, you know, really struggling. This is the red colour here, the colour of the root chakra, which refers to our childhood trauma and all the wounds we store there. You know, it's that keeps them in the energy of resistance. So, you know, your person is very confused. There's a lot of fractious energies here. There's a desire to take action, to accept this connection and to find stability in it and to create peace. But they don't have the power to do that. It takes two people to create peace and balance and stability. You're both being asked to have faith. And we see here the energy of creation as well with this pregnant lady. I'm also hearing that for some of you, your biological clock is ticking. You're like, come on, move this along. I want to have some babies. So, you know, you've got to trust that everything's going to move in the direction it's meant to. We've also got the energy of discernment coming up as guidance for both of you. And discernment is all about feeling the difference between our ego and our inner truth. It's such a fine line to navigate. It's not an easy energy to find that strong layer of discernment with. Is this the truth or is it my ego telling me it's the truth? This is what you're both being asked to listen to, you know, to tap into your higher selves and really try and figure out where that centered, balanced point is. So let's get some more guidance cards for you and charms before I take this over to the extended. In the extended, we're going to go deeper with thoughts and feelings, and we're definitely going to go deeper with what's shifting, so we can get some guidance to better prepare you for that. But I'm going to get some charms, some more oracle cards, and some tarot coins for you as well. So this is the Starseed deck. For the Divine Feminine, we've got Star Brothers and Star Bathing. And for the Divine Masculine, we've got Called. And we've got Empathic Starseed. I feel like there's quite a lot of youthful energy as well. Your person and you may be quite young, or one of you is young. Obviously, if your biological clock's ticking, you're not. Maybe that's the fear though. Maybe you're not as old as you think you are. Okay. Baby steps. Isn't that interesting after we're talking about babies? Right, let's get some charms as well. Give them a shake. Oh, one fell out there. What is it? What does that say? Wow, that says daughter. So maybe you already have a child together, or maybe there's already a pregnancy. Okay. So we have got, it's two people outside. We've got fake news. We've got the Fix a Broken Heart bottle. We've got the FBI badge, which is Fox Mulder, special Simpsons edition. We've got the Twin Flame Quartz, powerful sign there. We've got Hard Times. We've got Lit. A lot of these came out for Part 1, so interesting. And we've got that little winged heart, which I always like to point out has a hole in the middle of it. And I'm going to get some tarot coins as well. I've not used these in my readings before, so it's quite exciting. Just grab 3. Okay, there's 4 there, but we'll keep them. We have got the Star, the 3 of Swords, the Wheel of Fortune, and the World. So final guidance cards for you. Pile 2. Horus energy, protection's coming up again here, loyalty, safety and trust. Light body, crystal grid, transmission and activation. I can't tell you enough, pile 2, how everything is transforming for you, because you are being activated to wake up. You know, you're going to be receiving powerful downloads. You may notice that your dreams are more lucid and, what's the word, informative than usual. I'm really intrigued how this says Star Brothers. You know, because this feels like connecting with your own divine masculinity to try and find some balance and stability. And, you know, the 2 goshawks here, they're a representation of higher perspective, of tapping into a higher truth. And of course we see that very twin flame energy, but they're both looking in opposite directions. And so I feel very strongly that you and your person are learning opposing lessons right now, which is why there may need to be a separation between you. But you know, crystal grid, this is an energy you can work with. In fact, quite quickly, let me just grab some crystal cards for you as well. What crystals do you need in your grid? And you can keep this by your bed, you can put it on your desk where you work, whatever works. Okay, I'm not gonna read these out because we've not got a lot of time, but I'm gonna hold them up so you can pause the video and read them. So what crystals do you need in your grid? Okay, selenite, that's actually in our giveaway. So if you pause the video, you can read that. Taurus moon. I don't know what this is, but I'm going to choose an extra one for you because I've never heard of this stone, so I'm guessing it's not easy to come by. Kakokexonite, I think that says. Citrine, nice easy one to find. And finally, one more for you. What do you need in your grid? Rose quartz, beautiful, also lovely to find. So I'm really intrigued that you've got a lot of yellow there. Remember, you've got all that yellow, and rose quartz is such a soothing stone. So you need to start, in fact, you can bathe with crystals as well, but not all of them are good to go in water. I know you can't put selenite in water. I think most quartz-based crystals like citrine and rose quartz you can, but just Google and check that before you throw them in your bath. But you really need to start taking care of your light body, protecting yourself and clearing your own energy. For your person, we've got called, soul gifts and training. It's time to step up. And we've also got empathic starseed. Sovereignty is referenced again. It says energetic sovereignty, absorbing what's not yours. And so your person is also holding on to a lot of energy that doesn't belong to them. This again affirms that you both need clearing. But it's also asking you to be aware of how powerful your person is. You know, not all divine masculines wake up very quickly. Not all of them have spiritual awareness or even enough kind of intrigue or interest to become spiritually aware. But I do feel that your person is different. You know, they probably love paranormal stuff and find it really interesting, and they're already opening up to receive this spiritual information. So this is very positive for you. You know, this would suggest that they're growing with you, and that as you are activated, they are going to be too. The connecting energy is baby steps, action, follow your intuition before it makes sense. But remember, you can move at whatever pace is right for you. But this is about taking action towards your spiritual growth. You need time alone. It's too peakly outside. And I'm seeing here with this fake news that there's a lot of people around you that don't understand what you're going through, judge it very harshly, and frankly are giving you really awful advice. You need to step back and assess the friendship group that you're spending time with. They're not very high vibrational, and right now they don't serve you. In fact, with this Fix a Broken Heart bottle, this can indicate addiction. Now, this might be for you or your person, or using alcohol or some other substance as a coping mechanism to avoid actually doing the work. So this might be something that's encouraged by your friendship group because that's how they operate. And so, you know, they kind of make it okay, don't they? When your friends are doing it, you think, well, why shouldn't I do it too? So there's something there that's really destructive and not helpful to you that you need to be really aware of. This is a hard time for your person too. You know, because you express your pain and your trauma and they don't, it's easy to assume that they simply don't have any. But they struggle with this as much as you do. There is a hole in their heart as well. But they are also being lit up. You know, they are also carrying the same light. And the twin flame crystal is a really beautiful affirming sign here. Now, the FBI badge... I interpret this in various ways, but I'm asking you to stop sneaking around. If you are meant to know something, the information would come to you without you looking for it. And again, this might be what the fake news is connected to. You know, if you're asking around, what's so-and-so doing? You know, if you see my person, if they've been with someone else, you're going to hear things you don't want to hear, maybe aren't ready to hear, or you're not supposed to hear. So there's a message here to stop sneaking around and trying to figure out what they're being up to behind the scenes. I'm going to let you guys interpret the little daughter symbol as you wish. Keep the faith. You know, you're going through a grieving process right now, both of you. But again, the Wheel of Fortune has come up to show you that you're moving through a powerful cycle that will soon complete. The grief will not last and it's going to be okay. So I really hope that helps part 2. I'm going to take this over to the extended now. If you would like to join me there, you can find the link for that in the description box below. But thank you so much for joining me here. I appreciate you guys so much. And I want to extend a very special thanks to the really generous souls that watch my commercials. I've noticed more and more of you are doing it presently. It makes such a tremendous difference to my ability to deliver these readings because it supports my channel financially and keeps everything ticking over. And, you know, a 1-minute commercial as an energy exchange for the free content I provide is such a beautiful energy exchange that we can all partake in. So I just want to say a very special thanks to the very generous souls that do take the time to do that. I salute you, I appreciate you so much, and I send you my brightest blessings. Thank you so much for being here today. Please comment down below if you enjoyed this reading. Don't forget to hit the like button and to subscribe, and I just love to hear from you guys. So thank you in advance for leaving me your lovely comments and feedback, and I will see you next time. Lots of love. Bye. Hello, Path 3. Welcome to your reading. You have chosen the Modern Witch Tarot, this gorgeous piece of rose quartz, and we are asking today, you and them, what is really going on in this connection. In these readings, we look at the energies of both counterparts. We see how each of you are showing up in this connection. We look at how each of you is thinking and feeling about the other and what's going on between you. And we look at what's shifting and bring forward guidance for that for each of you. Now, if you skip the intro today, I strongly encourage you to go back and look, because I'm doing a massive giveaway. In fact, let me just show you quickly what's on offer. You've got 2 pieces of quartz from my own collection, and you may remember a couple of weeks ago me mentioning this stunning double terminated aura coated clear quartz. So excited to share one of these with you. We've also got blue kyanite. This is a twin quartz. We've got desert rose, tourmaline, beautiful piece of amethyst cluster, and a selenite wand. You can see these close up in the intro, and there's also instructions there of how to enter the giveaway. I'm so excited to share those with you. It's a lovely opportunity for me to give back, because you guys have been so generous to me recently. My channel's grown so much. Tons of you are watching my commercials, which I appreciate. And LUMI GEMSTONES, the lady I'm collaborating with, I've bought a ton of her crystals online recently. And, you know, I've always been really nervous about buying crystals online. Not just that, but I like to kind of hold them and feel them. So it's new for me to foray into the online crystal market. I'm so very happy with the service I've received from them. And she very kindly donated some of these stones for the giveaway. So I'm excited to share that with you. Good luck if you're going to enter. Okay, so let's give these cards a shuffle. Now, for this reading, I actually used 3 decks. For the Divine Feminine energies, and that can be a he or a she, I'm using this deck that you chose, the Modern Witch Tarot. For the Divine Masculine energies, we're using the Moon Power Tarot. And of course, the Divine Masculine can also be a he or a she. They're not gender specific energies. I've already shuffled these, but I'm going to give them another shuffle on screen. And we use a 3rd deck for the connecting energies down the middle. And for that, we are using the Hyde Tarot. Now, you may have seen me use this deck before. This was created by a friend of my family, Dan Francis. And Dan, he's an incredible artist, but he is also illustrating my Oracle deck. That should be announced very soon. I'm so very excited to share with you. This is a very monotone deck. It's black and white, but mine, of course, is alive with colour, as you would expect. So, you can still pick up the 1st edition of this deck, the Hyde Tarot from Dan. I know there aren't many left, and I don't think he has any plans to launch a 2nd edition at this stage, so it's a great investment. These independently created decks become very collectible. They gain in value very quickly. In fact, I just bought one recently, this one, which was, I paid 3 or 4 times the original value for it. And I've got another one on my shelf, which I'm not selling, but I saw it on eBay the other day for 6 times what I paid for it barely 3 or 4 months ago, which is staggering. So, you know, the 1st edition indie decks really are very collectible. So this is a very good investment, especially if you're a fan of Dan, as I am, and his beautiful illustrations. So this is the energies, sorry, the deck we'll use for the connecting energies down the middle. Now, before I draw cards, I just want to say about these readings that whilst they're not gender specific, for this reading specifically, I will refer to the Divine Feminine as she and the Divine Masculine as he, just because, quite frankly, it's easier for me to channel that way. I forget to use the they, them pronouns, but when we're looking at both energies like this, it can get confusing. You know, it can get complicated in terms of understanding who I'm actually referring to. So just for ease of channeling and so forth, I'll refer to the DF as she and the DM as he. But of course, those gender roles are interchangeable, so please just adjust them as you see fit. So let's start with the feminine energies. I'm going to use Oracle cards today as well, and the charms, and I'll be bringing out the tarot coins for the first time, which is really exciting. Okay, Divine Feminine. What are the current energies for the Divine Feminine, please? How is she showing up in this connection? We've got the 8 of Pentacles in reverse. We've got the Page of Swords in reverse. And we've got the Ace of Swords in reverse. How's she thinking and feeling about her counterpart in the connection? We've got the Chariot. We've got the Knight of Cups in reverse. We've got the King of Swords in reverse. And what's shifting for this Divine Feminine? We've got the Everything is Fine card, which is a play on the 10 of Swords. We've got the 5 of Swords. and we've got the Lovers in reverse. So let's get the masculine energies. The Moon Power Tarot for the Divine Masculine, his current energies. We've got the Ace of Pentacles. I'm just going to move these along to make more room. Ace of Pentacles. Knight of Cups in reverse. It's interesting because that came up for the feminine here as well. And the Seven of Wands. How's he thinking and feeling about the connection? We've got the Sun. The Queen of Pentacles in reverse. And the Ace of Cups in reverse. And what's shifting for this Divine Masculine? We've got the Two of Swords in reverse. The Page of Pentacles in reverse. And the Ten of Swords, which is interesting because that's come out for our Divine Feminine also. So connecting energies down the middle. This is where your two energies meet and obviously create the resulting energy that exists in the connection. So for current energies, we've got the Page of Wands in reverse. For thoughts and feelings, we've got the Hierophant. And for what's shifting, we've got the Three of Cups in reverse. Now, we'll get more oracle cards as we go, but I'm just going to start with a couple from the True Love reading cards. I'm going to use these as a significator for the overall energy of this reading, of the connection in general. So we have got forgiveness. And we've got manifestation. Now, the first thing that's come through here is very powerful energies of conflicts. These are two people that are very pissed off with one another, if we're being really frank. This Divine Feminine is very, very stubborn. You may have recently discovered that there's a soulmate or twin flame connection between you and this person, and you are strongly resistant to that information. You think the whole healing thing is bullshit. You just want to have a normal relationship and be done with all of this messing around. And why do I have to heal? You know, this just feels like a lot of hard work and I'm not buying into it. There's a tremendous amount of resistance here. And certainly a lack of awareness of how she herself is showing up. There's a lot of anger towards the counterpart. And we see here with the Page of Swords in reverse and the Ace of Swords in reverse, there's a lot of communication which is fed by the wounded inner child. So it's petty, it's resentful, it's full of bitterness, it's very inflammatory. And this is a Divine Feminine that isn't seeing the truth of this situation, or she may be seeing it, but she's refusing to accept it. And we see with the Eight of Pentacles here in reverse, she is refusing to do the work. She sees that her masculine is the problem and that he's the one that needs to change, buck up his ideas and start actually showing up in a more authentic, committed way. She sees him as very immature, very irresponsible, and quite frankly, the energies are so hostile, I'm not sure why she's still showing up in this connection, because it really feels like she absolutely hates him. Of course, deep down, there is a great deal of love here, but this is a Divine Feminine that's very tired, very frustrated, and frankly, you know, it's like I just keep hearing I'm sick of this shit. Now, I want to make this okay for you because we've all been through this very, very painful energy. This is a Divine Feminine that is quite triggered, but she's also not taking responsibility for her role in the connection. Now, every relationship is not one person's responsibility or the other person's responsibility. It's not the case that you did this and that happened. And, you know, each person brings a piece of energy which makes up the whole. You are each responsible for the part you know, contribute to it. And so it's not the case that your person is all to blame. I know you think that they're an absolute prick right now and that everything is their fault, but you're really not recognizing how your own behaviors are not conducive to any of this situation being resolved. And I want to say that actually both of you are showing up with communication that's filtered through the wounded inner child. And that's to say that neither one of you has been taught how to communicate from a place of peace and equanimity. Hostilities and conflict is normal to you because that's how you both saw your parents interact or your primary caregivers. So, you know, your attitude is, well, of course I lost my shit and went off at the deep end. You know, do you know what he did? You know, you feel very justified in your anger and your rage, but you're not understanding that those energies are not conducive to resolving anything. And that if you keep pointing the finger without taking accountability for your responses and your reactions and how you're showing up, you continue to go round in circles. And this is what we see happening here. Neither one of you is actually giving up, but neither are you actually fixing this. It's just an ongoing, very painful process. It feels very toxic, and we're dealing with two very angry people here. Now, what's really interesting about this, contrary to what we usually see in these kind of connections, is that the divine feminine is anxiously avoidant. More often than not in these relationships, we have an anxiously attached person and an anxiously avoidant person, whereas I believe that both of you swing between both of those extremes. This divine feminine is the queen of playing it cool. You know, she's been messed around enough times. She knows that she has to stay in control in these connections, and so she is very guarded with her feelings. She's very quick to anger. She doesn't like to reveal her vulnerabilities. She wants to be the tough one. You won't pull the wool over my eyes. You know, you won't get control of me. You won't get one up on me. So again, there's a lot of stubbornness, pride, and ego here. And it's very similar with the masculine. This masculine wants a new beginning. You know, we do see him trying to patch this over, but with the Knight of Cups in reverse, he's very emotionally immature, and he doesn't really understand how to move this forward. And he's also got a great deal of barriers which inhibit him from connecting emotionally. So you've got two anxiously avoidant people, two people that avoid their feelings, avoid communicating or even acknowledge their own feelings. You know, it's easier for this divine feminine to say, I don't care, I don't give a shit, he can do what he wants to do, he's an arsehole anyway, I don't want him, I don't care. Of course you do care. You care because you're here watching this reading. You know, so it doesn't serve you to pretend you don't care and to ignore your own feelings. You can't begin healing until you acknowledge that you're hurt. And, you know, it's not a weakness to feel hurt. You've got to stop seeing it as a vulnerability to acknowledge your own feelings. It doesn't mean you have to acknowledge them to them at this stage if you don't feel ready for that. But you do need to have a quiet word with yourself and release all of that bravado and be really honest with yourself about how you're feeling here, what's happening, and how you're showing up. Because your energy is very hostile. You know, I get why you're angry. I'm not saying you're not justified in being angry, but it's important to recognize that anger is an emotion that it's protective. It tells us that our boundaries have been challenged and what's happening isn't healthy for us. But beyond that, we need to settle that energy and communicate after we've risen above it. It doesn't help to stay in that angry energy. It can feel very empowering, though, to be angry, because it's such a protective energy. It's defensive. And so, again, you need to be honest with yourself about this hard skin that you have developed, this very tough exterior. There's a lot of air energy here. So that's Libra, Gemini, Aquarius. And I do feel that, you know, when any of those energies are distorted, they are very cutting. And as much as you know, you're upset for your person hurting you, you're not understanding how much your words hurt them. Two wrongs don't make a right. It's a double standard. You're really not being honest with yourself. And this masculine, you know, he's not honest with himself either. There is no authenticity in this connection. And again, with the Page of Wands in reverse, both of you are resisting change. Both of you are resisting taking responsibility for your individual actions. And this is why you're stuck, because there's no transformation here, because no one wants to surrender, give in, and be vulnerable. No one wants to say, okay, you know, I really care about you. I want to make this work. I really love you. Let's put down weapons and try and speak from a place of calmness. I think you try sometimes, but you never quite get past the rage. And the Page of Wands, as I said, this is two people that are showing up and communicating through the filter of that wounded inner child. because that's how they've been taught to communicate. There's no shame or judgment around that. You know, if you've been raised in a very hostile environment where that kind of conflict and extreme rowing was normal, then of course this is a normal mode of behavior for you, and you just need to unlearn that pattern. It's not about shaming you, it's about drawing awareness to the unhelpful energies that you're still stuck in. In terms of feelings, what's really interesting about this is, even though this divine feminine rejects the spiritual nature of this journey and doesn't want to be a part of that, it's kind of like, stuff this twin flame bullshit. You know, I don't want to be a part of that. I don't want to be a twin flame. It's too complicated. It's too crazy. You know, it's weird. She can't ignore the very divine synchronistic energies that present, and she feels this overwhelming magnetism that defies her logic. So even though she might still be in denial about the spiritual nature of this journey, and you know, she desperately wants to run away from it, she is also feeling that very powerful magnetism. You know, it's there and it's very strong. She couldn't run away from this connection, even though she tries very hard. And the Knight of Cups in reverse, you know, she's feeling like she's given enough. I'm not putting myself out there. I'm not going to keep putting my heart on the line when I'm not getting the respect, love and reciprocity that I deserve. But again, the King of Swords comes up again to remind us, remember we've got all these swords in reverse, that, you know, what she's really feeling is she wants to tell this person how it is. You know, the anger is constantly bubbling and boiling over, and kind of, it's almost like she's foaming at the mouth with the rage she feels for this person. And I genuinely do feel that they have been very unpredictable, you know, probably really unpleasant in their toxic behaviors, and this divine feminine's feeling like she wants to tear a piece off him. The masculine, it's really interesting, but despite all of these hostilities, you know, he does feel happy when he's with this divine feminine. It's like she's a light in his dark, but he doesn't know how to hold on to that. He doesn't want to commit, and he doesn't want to open his heart. You know, this masculine's got some very limiting beliefs about what love means. You know, he's seen the messy, disastrous, painful love that exists in the connections around him, and he's already decided that isn't for me. And so even though he finds a lot of joy in this connection, there is a very stubborn, prideful, and also very fearful refusal to step into his emotional self, to his emotional authenticity, and actually show up in this connection. And I feel this is where most of the arguments begin. You know, it pertains to this masculine's absolute refusal to commit or to show up in a meaningful way. The connecting energy here is the Hierophant. And that's what's really interesting, because the Hierophant's about authority. And what I feel is that this is just two people that feel they need to stay in control. They need to maintain the upper hand. And so, of course, you know, they can't meet in the middle because no one's prepared to give a little. Now, in terms of what's shifting, we see more conflict coming. You know, we've got the divine feminine still pretending everything's fine. You know, the Ten of Swords is about pain. It's about being stabbed in the back. But, you know, we can't heal from our wounds if we don't acknowledge them. And look at this divine feminine. Even though she's been stabbed left, right and centre, she's just looking at her phone. Everything's fine. I'm good. I'm not wounded. I'm really strong. I'm a powerful person. I'm a dominant, powerful female. You know, I'm the boss lady. No one can hurt me. I'm too tough. And she's had to develop this hard exterior to survive. But it doesn't serve her in this connection, and it's certainly not serving her in life right now. So we do see more of the same coming for this divine feminine. She's still pretending she's okay. Five of Swords is all about conflict, and we still see her, you know, weapon in hand, I'm ready to fight. And we see the Lovers in reverse. I'm not doing this anymore. I don't actually care. I don't want a relationship. But my darling, if you're watching this reading, you've got to be really honest with yourself. If you really didn't care, you wouldn't be here inquiring about the energies between you and them. It doesn't serve you to admit that you're not hurting. It doesn't serve you to deny your own truth. Of course, you love and want this person. And I know that makes you angry because it doesn't feel safe to be in that energy, because they don't feel safe. They're not coming at you with all of the loving stability and respect that you know you need and deserve. But you've got to be real if you're going to start transcending these energies and moving forward. at the moment we see you staying stuck. And, you know, the benefit of peeking into the future is that you have an opportunity to see where those energies are leading and make some changes to improve the outcome. You always have power over your destiny. You have free will at any stage. So, you know, when we see an outcome that doesn't look promising, we have the opportunity to make changes and adjustments. And, you know, you need to down the weapons. You need to start being honest and real with yourself if you want this connection to improve. Your person is also feeling that pain. They do feel the full force of your attack, but we see here that they bleed willingly. You know, they're not as keen to hide their pain as you. They're a little bit more soft at the center. But again, both of you do have this very tough exterior, very stubborn, very determined not to let anyone topple you off your pedestal. There's big ego here with both of you. Your person genuinely doesn't know what to do. We see them staying stuck. We've got the Page of Pentacles in reverse, more of that wounded inner child that feels disempowered and doesn't know how to get control of their life. And we see that they're still dogged by indecision, procrastination, you know, and they don't actually give a lot of thought or time to resolving or changing that energy. You know, they're very good at avoiding their feelings. They're very good at turning away from anything painful that demands their attention. And so we don't see a great deal shifting here. And indeed, with the Three of Cups, you know, it does look like there'll be a continued separation and brief periods of conflict if nothing changes. What's really interesting is the energies that came through as significators. Forgiveness. I forgive myself and I am forgiven. We've also got manifestation and, you know, that twin flame number 8 there. Remember that the energy you stay in is the energy you attract more of. Like attracts like. That's the law of attraction. You know, if you stay in the energy of anger, frustration, stubbornness, pride, ego, shadow, if you refuse to acknowledge your pain, you're going to attract more of the same cycles, and they will keep slapping you in the face until you change trajectory. You both need to forgive. You need to forgive yourselves. You need to forgive the people in your past that have hurt you, not for them, but for your own peace. Forgiveness isn't about, you know, gifting the person that hurt us. It's about gifting ourselves peace. So I strongly recommend you read up about what forgiveness means. And, you know, you need to start leading by example. Just because your person can't step out of that prickly, horrible energy doesn't mean you have to sit in it. At any given time, you have the power to change your path, to change your energy and manifest something which is more productive, which is more healthy and happy. Now, I forgot to remind you guys to ask for signs, I think. So before I pull oracle cards, obviously there's lots of signs come out, but before I pull oracle cards, a sign is just, you know, something from the universe that communicates that they're listening, you know, to help affirm or anchor your message. And it can be anything at all. It can be an animal, it could be a symbol, a phrase, it could be numbers, anything at all. So I'm going to pull some guidance cards for you guys. I'm going to start with, where's my Queen of the Moon Oracle? There it is. Let's start with the Queen of the Moon Oracle. What's the guidance for the Divine Feminine? We've got extremes. We've got action. We've got patience. And we've got nourishment. And for the masculine, we've got sovereignty. We've got self-reflection. We've got fruition. And we've got the void. I'm going to get some animal energies to the connecting guidance down the middle. This is the Divine Animals Oracle. And we've got the Sacred Ibis. A lot of these cards came out for piles 1 and 2. Wow, the wolf. The wolf has come out across various cards in both piles. And it's so interesting because I've been watching documentaries about the wolf and working with wolf energies. And it's just fascinating to me how much they show up in readings at the moment. But Divine Feminine, we've got the hot moon in extremes. And it feels like you swing between being, you know, absolutely madly in love with your person. There's chemistry between you like no other connection you've ever had, but it swings from kind of hot chemistry to hot rage. You're being asked to take action to bring these extremes into balance. You're being reminded that this connection will only transform when you choose to transform. Again, you're putting all the responsibility on this person. Well, if they only did this, and if they only did that, and if they took responsibility for this, and if they were better at doing that, you know, you think that if they change, then that's giving you permission to change, and that you're digging your heels in and saying, no, it's got to be them that goes first. You know, someone's got to be the bigger person here. And I hate to break it to you, but divine feminine energy leads. It always comes first. It's actually the divine feminine that illuminates the path forward for the masculine and inspires him to heal. But she has to start by healing herself. Now, you can go round and round in circles with this connection for as long as you want. You won't be able to walk away from it because that's the nature of the connection. And you will keep repeating these same painful, angry cycles until you surrender and face yourself. A big part of the reason why you don't want to do this is because you see it as such a dramatic waste of time. You know, you're like, oh, for God's sake, this is so long-winded. Why do I have to heal? You know, why do I have to go through this? Why do I have to jump through these hoops? Why can't it just be a normal relationship? Patience has never been your strong point, Path 3. You're being asked to develop that quality and trait. It's important because life doesn't happen as we want it to. It happens as it's meant to. And that sometimes means giving space for what's meant to be and not trying to rush it, not getting impatient. This is one of your greatest weaknesses in this whole situation, is absolute impatience. You're not patient with your person. You're not patient with yourself. You're certainly not patient with the situation. You've got to start feeding yourself the sustenance you're demanding from them. I don't feel loved by you. I don't feel respected by you. I don't feel cared for. You know, I don't feel like you're treating me in the way I deserve. Now, remember what twin flame connections are. They are mirrors. They are mirrors. Your person is expressing the shadow aspects that are also in you. If they're not treating you well, this is indicative of how you're not caring for yourself. If they don't make you feel loved, you're not making yourself feel loved. If they don't treat you with respect, you're not treating yourself with respect. If they don't make you feel cared for, you're not caring for yourself. That is literally how these connections work, which is why we call them mirror souls or twin souls. You are literally mirroring one another's shadow and light aspects. Right now, neither one of you is expressing the light. You're bringing all of these shadows up, and no wonder it's so painful and challenging and difficult. You've got to start feeding yourself. Now, you don't recognize yourself as codependent. You hate that word. You see other needy people and you're like, oh my God, they're so clingy. I would never demean myself by behaving that way. You're not identifying yourself as a codependent, but your main focus is always on others. You know, your person's issue affects your peace of mind. You know, your self-esteem is found in helping other people. You know, focusing on their problems. Liking who you are comes from other people liking you. If I look good and everyone thinks I'm attractive and great and accomplished, then I feel good. You very much rely on validation and approval from your external reality, you know. And when someone doesn't give you that approval, you're so angry. You know, your tough exterior rises up and says, stuff them, I don't care anyway. But deep down, it stings you. You know, it triggers so much doubt. So this is codependence through and through. Your happiness relies on other people showing up in the way you need and want. And that is codependent, you know, and you've got to learn that we can't rely on others to make us feel good. That's an inside job. So yes, you show up as an anxious, avoidant person, but that's because you deny your own feelings. In truth, you're trying to protect yourself from those very codependent, needy urges. And the reason you're so triggered when you see those energy in other people is because you're afraid to acknowledge them in yourself. You don't want to be that weak person that relies on others, but you've got to be real with yourself. You do. That's why you're so bloody angry with them, you know, because they're not giving you what you need and you're not giving it to yourself. So the guidance here is self-nourishment. You can't avoid this. You can't avoid the self-love path on this journey. You're being called to it, and it will keep slapping you in the face until you pay attention. You know, the other problem is you think attention is love. And that's why you get blindsided every time. And that's why when your person withdraws their attention or doesn't give you the attention you feel you deserve, that you experience that powerful energy of rejection, and it triggers rage. It triggers anger. How dare you, you know, reject me? I am worth more than that. But really, you know, you're so triggered because it's touching upon that rejection wound that you're not acknowledging is in you. So much of this could be settled if only you would turn to face yourself, pile 3. Your person is actually in a similar energy, but they are much more devoid of emotion than you are. We've got the dark moon. You know, if you're in feminine energy, you are by nature more naturally connected to your emotional body, and your person is by nature of being masculine energy more detached from their emotional body. So it's much easier for them to turn away from their feelings, which is why it appears that they stay a bit calmer than you do, and that really irritates you. You know, I feel like you both throw bombs at each other trying to get a rise or reaction out of the other, but you know, your person finds it much easier to sit in the dark and avoid all of this. Fruition and nourishment, you both need to grow. You know, this is what you're being called to. You know, your person also needs to take their power back. And again, remember, there's this energy here with the wolf, and I'll come to that in a minute, because as I said, I've been doing all this learning about wolves, but there's this energy of you trying to protect one another. There is a fierce loyalty that exists between you, you know, a deep friendship that belies the rage that sits on the surface. But your person right now gives away a lot of their power, even though they seem like quite a strong and, you know, a headstrong person. Actually, it does feel like there's a lot of narcissistic people in and around their environment that drain them. They definitely need to be cleared, and they need to take more responsibility for, you know, their own protection. But they are deeply in this self-reflective mode. They see, you know, this reflection in the mirror, but, you know, they're up to their neck in it. It's too intimidating. And so they shut themselves down. I wouldn't be surprised if you both had a lot of Scorpio energy. The anger and the kind of hostile nature of these interactions and the deep well of emotion that resides beneath it really indicates a lot of Scorpio energy for me here. But, you know, the connecting guidance here is the sacred ibis, which is learning, and the wolf, which is authenticity. And look, we see her wading into the water here. You know, both of you need to step into your emotions, and you need to open the door to learning, or you're not going to move forward. You've got to be real with yourselves if you want to be real with each other. And you're waiting for your person to be real. You know, you say, well, if my person is authentic, then that gives me room to be authentic. But it doesn't work like that. Someone's got to be the bigger person. Being authentic because someone else hasn't been isn't authentic, is it? You know, that's doing, and being authentic just so someone else will isn't authentic. That's an agenda. I'm going to be authentic so you'll be authentic. If I reveal this, then you'll have to reveal that. You know, there's so much manipulation and emotional coercion that happens without you even realizing. And this is both of you. This is both of you. Really strong energies here. Let's get some more guidance cards. Whew, it's actually making my chest tight. It's actually giving me anxiety. Like, both of you are so tense. There's so much tension and fury stored in your bodies right now, you know, and nowhere for it to go. You need to run, you know, just go for a really good long run and release all of that tension. Or do anything. High impact exercise helps to burn it all off, you know, puts you in a calmer state of mind. Right, so I'm going to get some charms and tarot coins as well before we take this extended. In the extended, we're going to go deeper on feelings because neither of you acknowledge them. I want to get some messages from the higher self as well. And of course, we're going to see more about what's shifting so we can get more guidance to prepare you for that. But let's get some more guidance here first. This is the Starseed deck. I always list the decks I'm using in the description box below if you're interested. Divine Feminine, we've got the Seas of Mintaka. We've got Big Picture Thinking. And for the Masculine, we've got High Wrath and earthed. And for the connecting energies, we've got I'm sorry, forgiveness, letting your guards down. Look at this, it's such a twin flamey image. I can actually feel you burning with shame. I don't want to be a twin flame. This is the craziest thing I've heard. And I felt that way too when I found out about this. I can relate to all of these energies, by the way. Before I woke up, before I knew I was a twin, I didn't have as deep an interaction with my person, but this is what I felt. I hated them. I hated them because it made me feel needy, and I refused to allow myself to be that. I went into this hyper resistant mode. Right, let's get some of these cards. Woo! Okay. I'm going to keep the blank piece of paper. Okay, we've got the mountains, a little camping scene. We've got the penny. We've got everything will be all right. We've got the asthma pump. I'm not surprised I've got that one. We've got this is a positive sign. It's almost like I can hear you saying, no, it bloody isn't. Oh, I feel for you. I feel for you. I can feel your pride and how much it stings. We've got the gramophone. And we've got the white rabbit. And let's get some tarot coins as well. Okay, we've got 3 there. Let's see what's come out for you. We have got the Emperor. We've got the 3 of Wands. And we have got the World. So final guidance for you, pile 3, before we move to the extended. The Seas of Mintaka, seeing potential, bringing unconsciousness to light. Now, unconsciousness is all of those things simmering beneath the surface that you're refusing to acknowledge. Your behaviours right now are rooted in ego. They are not conscious. They are not representative of who you really are. And do you know what? I actually feel exhausted after this reading. I can't even imagine how exhausting and tiring this must be for you too. Because it's like, even though it's driving you crazy and you've had enough, you can't let it go. And I do. I feel exhausted. I feel absolutely drained. It's so hard. You can't keep going around in circles like this. You've got to bring your consciousness into the light. You know, this is about connecting spiritually, accepting that this is a spiritual journey and, you know, diving into that big picture thinking. Pleiades energy, visionary, inspired ideas. You know, you've got to look at the bigger picture. You've got to take a higher perspective and see beyond the trauma, the rage, the anger, the wounding, which is poisoning this connection right now. Both of you are poisoning this connection right now with all of that past trauma that you're refusing to acknowledge and deal with. For your person, we've got longing for home, homesick for the stars and earth, learning how to be human in the world but not of it. And so this is why your person may be very devoid of emotion as well. You know, they may not have been a human being many times. Perhaps they're new to the earth, you know, which is really common, especially if you're quite younger. I do feel a lot of the younger generations have got strong starseed ancestry. And for some, you know, being in a human body where they have to experience their emotions at a physical level is incredibly challenging. It's incredibly hard to align with that part of ourselves. But look at this, the connecting energy. I'm sorry. Defenseless, writing past wounds and uprooting. And look how twinny this energy is. Mirror images of one another. You know, both of you need to step into forgiveness. Someone needs to offer an olive branch. You've got the Emperor here, the 3 of Wands and the World. Now, the Emperor is all about control. And so you're being asked to recognize that you have to release control. That's an egoic tendency. We can't really control things. The only power we have is over ourselves. We can't control other people. We certainly can't control our counterpart. You know, this connection is your world right now, and there is fulfillment in your future. You can trust in successful completion of this cycle, but the cycle will go round and round until you complete the lessons you're being intended to learn. You're being asked to listen carefully because the message is loud and clear and you keep ignoring it. And even though you perceive this whole spiritual woo-woo journey as just, you know, a crock of shit, it is actually really positive. It's a beautiful gift when you embrace it. You need some solitude. You need time out in nature. You need to reconnect with the truth of who you are. And the blank piece of paper is saying, if you've got nothing nice to say, don't say anything at all. You really need to learn to keep a lid on your rage. The lucky penny, see a penny, pick it up. All day long, you'll have good luck. Remember, when you're in positive energy, you have the power to manifest everything you want. If your life is chaotic right now, it's because your mind and heart is chaotic. When you bring it back into balance, everything that you need and want starts flowing to you in abundance. It's going to be okay. It really is going to be okay. You know, breathe deep. You know, try and release the anxiety, find some time for meditation and peace again, you know, stepping into nature. If you can do it together, that's even better. And above all else, be patient. This is a lifelong lesson and virtue that you're learning. It's patience. This has always been a tremendous fault of yours, right? You really need to learn more about patience and commit time to educating yourself and developing awareness around the energy of impatience that exists within you. I feel like I really tore a strip off you, Path 3. I have to say, if you join me at the extended, I will be so proud of you, because that wasn't an easy reading for you to receive. And if you held out to the end, then I salute you, because it is hard to face ourselves. And I want to make that okay for you, because as I said, I understand this energy. I swear to God, I've been there, and I understand how hard it is to acknowledge our own shadow. It stings. It really does sting. But thank you for still being here. I really hope it was helpful. Please do let me know in the comments down below. I'm intrigued to know how you received it. And if you would like to join me at the extended, you can of course find the link to that in the description box below. But thank you so much for joining me here and for sticking it out. And I want to extend a thanks to those very, very generous souls as well that exchange energy with me by watching my commercials. I appreciate you guys so much. Like, it really has made the grandest difference to my channel since I started asking you to do that, and since you guys actually started doing it. You can see how much my channel's grown. You know, when you watch my commercials, it makes YouTube money, and it makes me a tiny bit, which obviously helps keep the channel ticking over. But because it makes YouTube money, they promote my channel more, which means these readings find their way to more people. So thank you. Thank you for being a part of that. It really is a perfect energy exchange, and I appreciate it so very much. But thank you for sharing your journey with me. Thank you for being here. It's such a privilege to read for you. I learned so much from doing these readings as well. I know a lot of people assume that because I channel this stuff, I must be really wise and have a perfect life. But I promise you, it couldn't be further from the truth. The wisdom comes through me. It doesn't come from me. My guides are always very insistent that I remind people of that. And so, you know, the opportunity to read for you, it gives me the opportunity to learn about myself too. So thank you so much for being here, and I will see you next time. Lots of love. Bye.